Have you ever stopped to think that the single biggest disruption to global commerce in our lifetimes wasn't some uh, brand new technology, but actually a health crisis?
It's pretty mind-blowing when you frame it like that.
Right. In just one single year, the COVID-19 pandemic basically turbocharged the shift to online retail by like an entire decade.
A whole decade just compressed.
Imagine that. And from that single click you make on your phone to a package actually arriving at your door, every single step along the way is, well, it's meticulously engineered.
It's definitely not magic.
No, it's brilliant design and incredibly complex systems working together.
Yeah.
See, e-commerce doesn't just happen. It's a really carefully constructed ecosystem.
That's a good way to put it, an ecosystem.
From the underlying business models, the strategies to robust cybersecurity measures, the entire digital economy operates on this bedrock of strategic thinking, finely tuned systems, and of course the incredibly skilled people who know how to build them, maintain them, and keep them evolving.
The human element is critical.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Before we really delve into the intricate blueprints of this digital world, maybe take just a quick moment to hit that like button, subscribe to the deep dive if you haven't already, and maybe share this conversation with someone you know who's looking to carve out a bright future in the digital economy.
Yeah, good idea. These insights can really help.
Every deep dive we put together is packed with insider tips, and you'll find all the extra resources we mentioned. They're waiting for you right there in the description below.
Always check the description. Lots of good stuff there.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're not just, scratching the surface. We're actually tearing into the engineering marvel that is online retail and services.
Getting into the nuts and bolts.
Exactly. Our expedition today draws really heavily from Chapter 9 of E-Commerce 2023, Business Technology Society, which is a foundational text by Laudon and Traver.
A classic in the field. Very solid.
And this deep dive is kind of custom tailored for you, whether you're maybe a student diving deep into BCIS 5379 at Tarleton State University's Dr. Sam Pack College of Business.
Go Texans.
Or simply someone like us who's just intensely curious about how this whole digital economy is built and meticulously run day to day.
Yeah, the how is fascinating.
Our mission really is to illuminate the critical technical and business considerations for creating and operating an electronically based business. We'll be traversing everything from operational and legal landscapes to cutting-edge technologies and even the practical implementation of e-commerce projects that seamlessly integrate databases, web pages, and script languages.
It's that integration piece that's so key, making it all work together. That's a big part of the skill set students need to develop.
Absolutely. Get ready for some serious insights that might just reshape how you understand it all.
Hopefully some aha moments.
Let's hope so. So let's maybe rewind a bit, shall we? Back to the early days of e-commerce. It truly felt like the Wild West, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Full of audacious predictions.
And just this boundless sense of possibility. Analysts back then were quick to forecast this landscape dominated by, brutal price competition.
Lowest price wins always. That was the thinking.
Incredibly low entry costs for any new players, right? Just throw up a website.
Yeah, easy peasy. Or so they thought.
And this phenomenon they called disintermediation, basically, cutting out all the traditional middlemen in the retail chain.
Get rid of the gatekeepers. Go direct.
But as often happens with these new frontiers, reality took a, shall we say, slightly different path.
Understatement of the year, perhaps.
So what actually unfolded? And how did those initial visions really compare to the e-commerce world we inhabit today?
Well, it's truly fascinating how many of those initial forecasts, while not entirely wrong, certainly missed the mark in their specifics. And honestly, for anyone looking to enter or even just understand e-commerce today, these early lessons are absolutely fundamental.
You have to know the history. Huh?
You really do. The prevailing thought, as you said, was that the internet, by drastically reducing search costs and transaction costs, would lead to perfect price transparency.
Everyone sees every price instantly.
Exactly. Consumers would simply find the absolute lowest price online, driving competition to its most extreme form. And look, while price competition did intensify, no doubt about it,
Oh, yeah.
what we actually saw was that price dispersion, the range of prices for the same item, it didn't vanish.
Interesting. Why not?
Because consumers, it turns out, are not purely rational, cost-driven machines. We're humans.
Right.
They consistently proved willing to pay a premium, sometimes a significant one, for factors beyond just the lowest dollar amount.
Like what kinds of factors?
Well, we're talking about the power of trusted brands, brands people recognized and felt comfortable with. The assurance of reliability and service. Will my order actually show up?
Yeah, that's huge.
The guarantee of consistent and accurate order fulfillment, and crucially, really exceptional customer support when things go wrong, because things do go wrong sometimes.
Always. So it wasn't just about the price tag.
Not at all. This is a monumental insight, especially for you, the listener. Maybe if you're a student tasked with analyzing each component of an e-commerce business model for, say, that BCIS 5379 class.
Yeah.
It tells you that brand reputation and service quality aren't just nice to haves. They are often just as important as, if not more important than, price alone in securing customer loyalty and, crucially, long-term viability.
So value over just cost.
Precisely. It's about the total value proposition.
Okay, so that tackles the price prediction.
Yeah.
What about the idea of ultra-low entry costs? Was it really that easy to get started?
That was another big prediction that didn't quite pan out as expected. The thinking was, hey, just build a website, maybe get some cheap hosting, and boom, you're in business.
Sounds simple enough.
Yeah, but building a truly robust, scalable, and importantly, secure online operation, one that can genuinely compete and, stand the test of time, it requires significant investment.
Okay, so what kind of investment are we talking?
Well, you're looking at costs for sophisticated website development, not just a template. You need effective brand building, which costs money, and perhaps the most challenging piece, customer acquisition in an increasingly crowded, noisy digital space.
Getting eyeballs on your site.
Exactly. And that costs a lot. Plus, let's not forget the often complex logistics, warehousing, shipping, returns. Many of those early first-mover advantages people talked about, they turned out to be pretty fleeting.
So being first wasn't everything.
Not necessarily. Numerous online-only businesses, what Laudon and Traver term virtual merchants, they struggled and ultimately failed. Why? Because they couldn't sustain the necessary investment or they couldn't acquire customers efficiently enough to turn a profit. And this, somewhat paradoxically, paved the way for the established traditional retailers, the bricks and clicks, the ones with national brands, existing customer bases, and importantly, deep pockets.
Like the Walmarts and Targets of the world.
Exactly. They could leverage their existing infrastructure, their built-in trust, their reputation to build out their online channels, often more successfully in the long run than the pure-play startups.
So it sounds like while the internet definitely opened doors, it also significantly raised the bar on what it actually takes to succeed long-term.
That's a perfect way to put it.
But what about that third prediction, disintermediation, the idea of cutting out the middlemen? Did that part happen?
No, that one was much closer to the mark. And it significantly reshaped entire industries. Channel disruption was indeed a very real, very powerful outcome.
How so?
Well, the rise of direct-to-consumer models, or DTC, for example, this allowed manufacturers to completely bypass their traditional retailers and sell directly from their own websites.
Think about mattress companies or clothing brands.
Precisely. This fundamentally altered distribution chains that had been in place for decades. And it forced those traditional businesses, the retailers, to adapt quickly, often by integrating their own online offerings and embracing what we now call omni-channel strategies. They essentially had to become their own middlemen, but in a new digital context.
So they had to evolve or risk becoming irrelevant.
Exactly. For you, the listener, understanding these foundational shifts, what worked, what didn't, why it's critical. It helps you avoid repeating past mistakes, yes. But more importantly, it guides you in selecting the appropriate e-commerce business models for today's world.
Right.
And it helps you analyze each component needed to build sustainable e-commerce ventures. This isn't just, dusty history. It's a living lesson baked into the digital economy.
Absolutely. Okay, so that sets the historical stage. And then, as if the digital landscape wasn't dynamic enough, the ultimate disruptor arrived, the COVID-19 pandemic.
The great accelerator.
It wasn't merely a challenge. It felt like a global accelerator, didn't it? Dramatically reshaping consumer behavior and forcing businesses to pivot online at, warp speed.
Warp speed is right. The pandemic truly became a crucible for the digital economy. It presented both dramatic challenges and also significant, often quite unexpected opportunities across nearly every single sector.
Yeah.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, especially for anyone looking to understand market agility, that period between between, say, 2020 and 2022 saw an almost exponential increase in global research dedicated just to retail.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Thousands of authors worldwide trying to dissect its impact in real time. Countries like the USA, China, India, for instance, they produce an enormous volume of academic studies and industry insights. The crisis just caught societies and economies completely off guard. It necessitated rapid implementation of new measures, new policies, and crucially for our discussion, entirely new consumer habits almost overnight.
What kind of habits shifted most dramatically?
Well, people's daily routines were just upended. There was much less reliance on public transit, often out of fear of infection, right?
Yeah.
And that led directly to a massive surge in online shopping for everything. Consumers developed this heightened, almost obsessive focus on hygiene and safety in any physical retail spaces they did visit.
Contactless everything.
Exactly. That fueled innovation, and things like contactless payment, curbside pickup became ubiquitous. Interestingly, though, despite this massive online boom and that accelerated shift towards e-commerce,
Yeah.
studies, like one by Seda and colleagues in 2021, revealed that physical stores still accounted for over 70% of total retail sales globally. E-commerce made up less than 30% even during the pandemic's peak.
Wow, 70% still physical. That's actually surprising given how much hype online got.
It is surprising, isn't it? But it isn't really a sign of online weakness. It's more that while the online channels provided this vital safety net and incredible convenience, the physical store, although it had to adapt significantly, maintained a surprisingly strong, albeit transformed, role in the overall retail picture.
That's a really powerful statistic. It shows that even with all that online acceleration, the physical presence remains incredibly relevant. Maybe it highlights that enduring human need for, I don't know, tangible interaction or experience.
Absolutely. I think that's spot on. And this period massively accelerated the adoption of omnichannel paradigms. Businesses realized, perhaps were forced to realize, they couldn't just have an online store or a physical store. They needed to seamlessly integrate both into one experience.
Like ordering online, picking up in store.
Exactly, or checking inventory online before you even bother going to a physical location. It also brutally exposed and underscored the critical need for supply chain resilience.
Oh, big time. We all felt that.
Didn't we? Businesses had to rapidly diversify their sourcing, rethink their entire logistics networks, build in redundancy to withstand these global shocks. Retailers were forced to prioritize employee well-being like never before, and they had to quickly adapt their marketing strategies to totally new consumer preferences, like the sudden, massive demand for same-day delivery, or even figuring out specialized low-cost delivery routes in really dense urban areas. For you, the listener, this period is just a masterclass in business agility.
Yeah.
It teaches you how e-businesses must remain incredibly responsive to external shocks. It shows how vital it is to understand major trends in the consumption of online content. And it's crucial for describing relevant supply chain management and collaborative commerce issues related to business problems you might tackle.
And for understanding how to develop an appropriate e-business marketing strategy when the world can change on a dime.
Precisely. In a volatile world, agility is key.
So against this backdrop of rapid change and intense acceleration, what are the technological engines really driving this transformation today? It's clearly gone way beyond just having a website.
Oh, miles beyond.
What emerging technologies are truly redefining what's possible in e-commerce? And maybe how will these impact students who are evaluating different e-business platforms?
That really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's where the engineering part truly gets exciting. We're seeing a clear, concentrated focus on several key technological pillars. These aren't just supporting e-commerce, they're actively driving its growth and profoundly impacting how we will select appropriate hardware and software solutions going forward.
Okay.
These aren't just buzzwords, they are the fundamental building blocks of tomorrow's digital enterprises.
Lay 'em on us. What's first?
First up, gotta be artificial intelligence, or AI. And this isn't just about, sci-fi robots, it's about intelligence embedded deep within the systems.
How is it being used?
AI is powering incredibly personalized shopping experiences. Think recommendation engines that predict what you might want even before you know you want it.
Spooky sometimes.
Can be. It's also behind the scenes in customer service chatbots, handling a vast array of routine inquiries 24/7, freeing up human agents for the more complex, nuanced issues. And crucially, AI is optimizing inventory management by predicting demand with remarkable accuracy. This minimizes waste and helps ensure products are where they need to be when they need to be there.
That sounds huge for efficiency.
It is. Think about giants like Amazon and Walmart.
Hmm.
They're not just adopting AI, they're leading its development and deployment. They use it to refine their recommendation engines, streamline their vast logistics networks, even detect fraudulent transactions in real time.
Right.
For you, this means understanding how AI can essentially become the brain of your e-business, informing critical decisions from pricing strategies to customer engagement tactics.
Okay, so AI is handling a lot of the thinking and prediction side. What about connecting with the physical world, the goods themselves?
That brings us neatly to the Internet of Things, or IoT. These are essentially smart, connected devices, sensors, embedded in the physical world.
How does that apply to e-commerce?
In e-commerce, IoT is invaluable for things like real-time inventory tracking. Imagine smart shelves in a warehouse that automatically update stock levels the instant an item is picked.
Wow, no more manual counts.
Increasingly, yes. It's also monitoring product conditions. Think tiny sensors tracking temperature and humidity for perishable goods like pharmaceuticals or fresh food throughout the entire supply chain journey. This enhances transparency and significantly reduces spoilage.
That's amazing.
These smart devices provide a level of operational efficiency and granular insight that was previously unimaginable. They help retailers prevent costly stockouts and avoid wasteful overstocking, both of which are massive drains on profitability. This is fundamental for managing complex supply chains effectively in real time.
Okay, AI for brains, IoT for the physical connection. What about making the online experience more engaging, more visual?
Then we have the visually transformative duo, augmented reality, AR, and virtual reality, VR, and these are definitely not just for gaming anymore.
How are they being used in retail?
They're offering increasingly immersive shopping experiences. AR allows for things like virtual try-ons of apparel. You use your phone camera to see how a shirt looks on you without physically putting it on.
I've seen that.
Or visualizing furniture in your own living room to scale before you commit to buying it. Companies like IKEA and Sephora are pioneers here, using AR for virtual product placement.
Does it actually help?
Massively. It significantly reduces the likelihood of returns, which is a huge cost center for e-businesses, and it dramatically enhances customer satisfaction by eliminating that purchase uncertainty. Will this actually fit? Will it look right? AR helps answer that.
Okay, and VR.
VR is still maybe a bit more nascent in retail, but the potential is huge. Imagine being transported to a completely virtual showroom where you can walk around, interact with products, maybe even talk to a virtual sales assistant. It offers an entirely new way to browse and engage.
That's a powerful concept. Reducing returns means happier customers and a healthier bottom line. But what about trust and security in this increasingly digital, data-rich environment? It feels like a constant worry.
It absolutely is. And that's where blockchain technology can potentially step in, though it's often less visible to the everyday consumer right now.
Blockchain, like Bitcoin.
Related technology, but used differently here. Think of it as a distributed, immutable digital ledger. It's being explored to secure transactions and make supply chains transparent with unprecedented levels of detail.
Oh.
Blockchain can be used to verify product authenticity is this luxury handbag reel. It can track the precise origins of goods, where did this coffee bean come from, and it can help prevent fraud across complex multi-party networks. Walmart, for example, has famously used blockchain to enhance food safety by tracing the journey of certain products, like pork in China, from farm to shelf.
That offers incredible traceability.
Unparalleled traceability. It could be life-saving in recalls. For businesses, using blockchain can build higher levels of trust with both consumers and suppliers.
Okay, that covers security and transparency. Is there anything else driving change? A bigger trend?
Yes, absolutely. And it's a kind of meta trend that's intertwined with all these technologies. Sustainability.
Yes. That's everywhere now.
And rightly so. Beyond just specific tech solutions, consumers are increasingly demanding sustainable practices from the businesses they support. This influences everything from ethical sourcing of materials and carbon footprint reduction in logistics to embracing circular economy models.
Circular economy, like recycling.
Recycling is part of it, but it's broader. Think product refurbishment, designing products for longevity, implementing take-back programs, creating marketplaces for used goods. Brands like Patagonia are renowned for their deep commitment to sustainability, right?
Definitely.
But even industry giants like H&M and IKEA are setting really ambitious goals, aiming for things like climate positivity by 2030. They're doing this through materials innovation, optimizing logistics for minimal environmental impact, investing in renewable energy.
So it's becoming table stakes.
For any aspiring e-business, integrating sustainability is rapidly moving from nice to have to a strategic imperative. It defines your brand values and resonates powerfully with a growing segment of environmentally conscious consumers. It's part of the value proposition now.
That's a really comprehensive look at the current technological landscape. These truly feel like the technologies available that any future e-business professional, whether they're in BCIS 5379 or just exploring the field, will absolutely need to analyze and potentially integrate into their own e-commerce projects.
For sure.
They aren't just features tacked on. They define the e-business marketing strategies of successful companies today. They fundamentally shape how you develop your media content strategy and, critically, how you select the appropriate hardware and software solutions. It's really about building an entire experience ecosystem, isn't it?
Ecosystem is the perfect word. It all has to work together seamlessly.
Okay, so we've talked about the historical shifts, the tech powering the present. Now let's get down to brass tacks. If you're going to engineer an electronically based business, you need that rock-solid foundation, your business model.
The blueprint.
Exactly, the blueprint for how your enterprise will actually create value, deliver that value, and, importantly, capture some of that value for itself. Laudon and Traver lay out several primary types that every aspiring e-business strategist needs to intimately understand. Let's unpack these core models.
Yeah, this section is absolutely crucial. For any student preparing, say, an e-business proposal for a course, this directly addresses that knowledge outcome of describing the major types of e-commerce business models.
Right.
Understanding these different models is what allows you to select the appropriate e-commerce business models to address a specific business problem. It gives you a robust framework for your analysis.
Okay, let's start. What's the first type?
First, we have the virtual merchants. These are your pure-play online retailers, the single-channel firms that generate pretty much all their revenue exclusively from online sales.
Like Amazon in its early days. Or maybe Zappos.
Exactly like Zappos. Or think of the original Blue Nile, the diamond retailer that launched purely online. Their primary advantage is obvious: avoiding the massive overhead associated with physical brick-and-mortar stores. No leases, no utility bills for storefronts, fewer sales associates needed.
Sounds good. What's the catch?
Well, they face significant counterbalancing expenses. They need substantial investment in cutting-edge website development and maintenance. They need aggressive and consistent brand building to establish trust when there's no physical presence. And, perhaps most critically, they face very high costs for customer acquisition in that incredibly crowded digital space we talked about.
So getting customers is expensive.
Very. Success here really hinges on superior digital marketing chops, incredibly efficient logistics, and absolutely stellar online customer service to build loyalty.
Okay, so they trade physical overhead for digital overhead, essentially. Makes
Yeah.
sense. What about the companies that started in the physical world but then went online?
Right. Those are the omnichannel merchants, often called bricks and clicks. These are firms that started with a primary network of physical stores, but have successfully integrated and often really innovated their online offerings.
Walmart, Target, Best Buy.
Perfect examples. Walmart is a quintessential one. Their power lies in leveraging an existing, incredibly strong brand name, a massive pre-existing customer base they can market to, and their extensive physical infrastructure, warehouses, distribution centers, established supply chains, the works.
Sounds like a huge advantage.
It is, but the challenge is also immense. Seamlessly integrating those online and offline operations into one unified, frictionless customer experience. And they have to carefully navigate what's called channel conflict.
Channel conflict, what's that?
That's where your online sales might inadvertently cannibalize sales from your own physical stores, or maybe create tensions with existing franchise partners or other retail partners. It requires a really delicate strategic balance and a sophisticated understanding of how customers move between online and offline touchpoints.
Tricky. Okay, what's next?
Then there's the manufacturer direct model, often abbreviated as DTC or D2C. Here, the manufacturers themselves sell directly to consumers, deliberately cutting out traditional retail intermediaries like wholesalers or department stores.
Like Nike selling directly on Nike.com.
Mhm.
Or maybe smaller artisan brands.
Exactly. Fortin Ironworks, an artisan company selling ornamental iron products and furniture online, is a great illustration Laudon and Traver use. The advantages are clear. You get direct customer relationships, which provide invaluable feedback for product development and complete control over your brand messaging.
And probably better margins, right? No middleman cut.
Generally, yes. Higher margins are a big driver. But this model carries significant risks, too. It can seriously alienate your traditional retail partners who now see you as a direct competitor. And crucially, it demands robust, sophisticated supply chain management capabilities, fulfilling potentially thousands of individual small orders instead of bulk shipments to retailers. Plus, you need significant investment in direct consumer marketing, which is a skill set many traditional manufacturers don't inherently possess.
I see. So you're gaining control and margin, but potentially losing distribution partners and taking on entirely new, complex operational challenges. What about businesses that started out purely with catalogs, like paper catalogs?
Right, the catalog merchants. These are a fascinating case study in adaptation. These are traditional catalog businesses, think Fingerhut or maybe LL Bean in the old days, that have successfully transitioned their sales operations online.
Oh,
They come to the table with an established product range and often a very loyal customer base already familiar with their brand and offerings from the catalog era. However, they face challenges similar to the virtual merchants when it comes to building a strong, compelling digital presence, optimizing everything for online search, and adapting to the much higher customer service expectations of online shoppers.
people expect instant answers online.
Exactly. Instant gratification, seamless digital interactions. Their success really lies in effectively translating their established trust and product curation expertise into an engaging, easy-to-use online experience.
Makes sense. And the last model.
Finally, we have the highly dynamic, often disruptive on-demand service companies. This is a truly different breed. It provides sophisticated platforms connecting service providers, often just individuals leveraging spare resources like their personal vehicles, maybe a spare room in their house, or their own labor with consumers who want to utilize those resources quickly and conveniently.
DoorDash, Uber, Airbnb.
Perfect examples.
Right.
DoorDash connecting hungry customers with restaurants and delivery drivers. While incredibly convenient and usually fast-growing, this model also faces unique and often intense controversies, particularly around regulation, worker classification, fair competition, issues we'll definitely unpack a bit later.
Okay.
Knowing these fundamental models, virtual merchant, omnichannel, manufacturer direct, catalog merchant, and on-demand, really helps you, the student, select the appropriate e-commerce business models to address a specific business problem. It gives you that essential framework to analyze each component of an e-commerce business model and develop solid support for your chosen approach in, say, a business proposal.
That's a really solid overview of the foundational models. But, simply having a model, even a brilliant one on paper, doesn't automatically guarantee success, does it?
Not even close.
So, what determines if an e-commerce firm is truly viable over the long haul? What are the strategic and financial deep dives required that go beyond just having a cool idea or a slick website?
This is absolutely where you separate the fleeting trends from the sustainable enterprises, and it's crucial for identifying the key elements of e-commerce business models, especially when you're tasked, maybe in that BCIS 5379 course, with developing a professional e-business proposal. Understanding and assessing viability is absolutely paramount.
Okay, how do we do that?
We generally scrutinize firms through two interconnected lenses: strategic analysis and financial analysis. They feed into each other.
Let's start with strategy.
Okay, for strategic analysis, we look at both the firm itself, internally, and the broader industry it operates within, externally. At the firm level, we ask some pretty probing questions.
Like what?
Like value chain efficiency. How lean and efficient are the core business systems, from sourcing raw materials all the way through to final delivery and customer service? Are there looming technological changes on the horizon that might require costly process shifts? Or is the firm agile enough to adapt quickly? This directly impacts how effectively they can select appropriate hardware and software solutions, not just for today, but for the future.
Makes sense. What else internally?
Core competencies. Does the firm possess unique skills, proprietary knowledge, or maybe specific assets that are difficult for competitors to duplicate? And importantly, are these skills future-proof in a rapidly evolving digital landscape, or are they susceptible to becoming obsolete?
So what makes them special and can it last?
Exactly. Then, synergies. Can the firm leverage competencies or assets from related entities, maybe sister companies or strategic partnerships, to amplify its reach and capabilities? An omni-channel merchant, for instance, might use its physical stores as local fulfillment hubs or return centers for online orders, creating powerful synergies between its online and offline presence.
Yeah.
And finally, social and legal challenges. Is the firm particularly vulnerable to legal issues, maybe around stringent data privacy regulations like GDPR, or the incredibly complex area of worker classification, especially in the gig economy? And critically, does it effectively address consumer trust and privacy concerns? Because that's vital for sustained growth and brand loyalty in today's data-sensitive world. You have to evaluate those legal, ethical, social, and political issues.
That's a lot to consider just internally. What about looking outward at the industry?
Right. At the industry level, we widen our scope. We consider the classic competitive forces, like Porter's five forces often provides a good framework here. Ease of entry. How easy or difficult is it for new firms to enter this specific market segment? Low barriers often mean intense, cutthroat competition, substitute products. Are there readily available substitute products or services out there that could lure your customers away? Power of suppliers and customers. How much bargaining power do your suppliers have over you? How much power do your customers have? Strong customer power often drives down prices and squeezes margins. Distribution channel changes. Are there potential shifts happening in the distribution channels that could disrupt the entire industry structure?
Okay, so that's the strategic landscape inside and out. What about the numbers, the financials? How do we assess the financial health and ultimately the potential for profitability?
That brings us to the financial analysis. Here, the goal is pretty straightforward. Understand if the firm is actually scaling profitably and can sustain itself financially.
What are the key metrics to look at?
Well, a few stand out. Net margin. This is arguably the ultimate measure, right? It shows how much profit a firm makes per dollar of sales after accounting for all expenses, operating costs, taxes, interest, everything. A healthy net margin should ideally improve over time as a firm achieves economies of scale.
And negative one.
A consistently negative net margin is a flashing red warning light. It signals the firm is literally losing money on every single sale. That's just not sustainable long term.
Okay, what else?
Current assets versus current liabilities. This ratio gives you a snapshot of the firm's short-term liquidity. Basically, can it pay its upcoming bills? It tells us if the firm has enough readily available assets, like cash, inventory it can sell quickly, accounts receivable it expects to collect soon, to meet its short-term obligations. Bills due, short-term debt payments. If current liabilities significantly exceed current assets, it's a serious red flag for potential cash flow problems or even bankruptcy risk.
Got it. Short-term health.
Exactly. And then long-term debt. We need to scrutinize the level of long-term debt the company is carrying. Can the firm comfortably service that debt? Make the interest payments without crippling its operations? High interest payments can consume a disproportionate share of operating profits, which stifles investment and growth and makes the company really vulnerable if interest rates rise.
Okay, margin, liquidity, debt. Makes sense.
Now, if we connect this analysis to the bigger picture for you, especially in a dynamic e-business environment where costs can be complex, this is precisely where a system like activity-based costing, or ABC, becomes incredibly valuable, maybe even indispensable.
Activity-based costing. How does that differ from regular accounting?
Well, traditional costing systems often use broad, somewhat arbitrary methods to allocate indirect costs. Things like general marketing spend, IT support, rent for shared facilities, central customer service costs. In a complex e-business with multiple products, services, and channels, this broad allocation can be highly imprecise and even misleading. ABC emerged to overcome these limitations. It works by first allocating costs to specific activities the business performs, like processing an order, handling a return, running a specific ad campaign, providing chat support. Then it allocates the costs of those activities to the products, services, or customers based on their actual consumption of those activities.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Instead of just lumping all customer service costs together and spreading them evenly, ABC might identify separate costs for chat support, email support, and phone support. Then it traces those specific costs to the products or customer segments that actually generate those support interactions. Maybe product A generates mostly cheap chat interactions, while product B generates costly phone calls. ABC reviews that difference.
So it gives you a much clearer picture of where the money is really going.
Exactly. It provides a strategic vision by clearly identifying which activities truly add value and which don't, or which products are genuinely profitable and which aren't once you allocate costs accurately. This is crucial for efficient management and for optimizing every dollar spent in any e-business.
Sounds powerful, but maybe complicated to set up.
It can be, yes. Implementation can be complex and potentially costly initially, especially defining all the activities and cost drivers.
Hmm.
But its benefits, like much better cost control, more accurate product costing, leading to more rational pricing strategies, identifying process inefficiencies, these are absolutely vital for achieving sustainable profitability and scaling successfully in the incredibly competitive e-commerce landscape.
Right.
This knowledge also helps you identify major trends in supply chain management and collaborative commerce because it allows for much more precise cost analysis within those complex operations. These analytical skills are truly foundational for developing a professional e-business proposal and for properly analyzing each component of an e-commerce business model. You need to understand the true costs.
That's a really deep dive into viability analysis, highlighting that a successful e-business isn't just a great idea, but it has to be this meticulously engineered financial and strategic machine. Okay, let's pivot slightly. We've talked a lot about selling physical goods, but the digital economy isn't solely about that, is it? It's profoundly reliant on the service sector, too.
Hugely reliant.
This feels like a realm rich in knowledge, information, where personalization is maybe even more key. So in the context of e-commerce, how do we differentiate the major ways online services are impacted or delivered?
That's a crucial distinction to make. When we talk about e-commerce impacting services, we generally differentiate between two major types of online service industries. Each demonstrates really unique ways the digital realm interacts with this vital sector of the economy. And understanding this difference helps you, the listener, grasp some major trends in the consumption of online content and services.
Okay, what's the first type?
First, we have services centered around transaction brokering. These are services whose primary function is to act as an intermediary, to facilitate a transaction between two or more parties.
Give me some examples.
Think of online stockbrokers like E-Trade or Charles Schwab, allowing you to buy and sell shares with just a few clicks. Or online travel agents like Expedia or Booking.com, which connect you, the traveler, with airlines, hotels, and car rental companies. Even online real estate brokers fit here.
Okay, so they're matchmakers, essentially.
Pretty much. They thrive on the web's unparalleled ability to efficiently collect, store, and exchange vast amounts of information very quickly. The internet makes the transaction process faster, often cheaper, and significantly more accessible, breaking down old geographical barriers. Their core value proposition is really built on information efficiency.
Got it. Making information flow freely to enable a deal or a booking. What about services that require more direct human interaction or even a physical presence? Can e-commerce impact those too?
Absolutely. That brings us to the second category, hands-on services. These are services that, by their very nature, still involve a significant physical component or direct human interaction.
Like what?
Examples would include legal counsel, medical consultations, accounting or tax preparation services, even things like home repairs or tutoring. The core service itself isn't purely online. You still need to physically visit a doctor for an examination, or have a lawyer represent you in court, or have a plumber come to your house to fix a leak.
Right. The internet can't fix my plumbing.
Yet, not yet.
Yeah.
However, the internet profoundly assists these hands-on services. It acts as a powerful enabler. It provides crucial background information, access to deep knowledge repositories, think WebMD before a doctor's visit, and much more efficient communication channels between the service provider and the customer.
Also,
Well, for instance, a legal firm's website might offer self-help resources, downloadable standard forms, or even a sophisticated, secure portal where clients can schedule consultations, upload sensitive documents securely, and communicate directly with their attorney. The digital realm enhances convenience booking appointments online 24/7, provides constant access to information, and streamlines many of the administrative processes, even when the core service itself remains largely offline or face-to-face.
so it enhances the delivery, even if it doesn't replace the core service.
Precisely. The key insight here, really for both types of services, is that the ability to effectively collect, store, and exchange information is what defines the value proposition in so many online service industries. Services, in general, are inherently knowledge-intensive and information-intensive. They often require extensive personalization and customization. E-commerce platforms dramatically enhance this by improving information delivery, refining communication methods, and significantly expanding the reach of service providers. This itself is a significant major trend in the consumption of online content and services.
Okay, that distinction is clear. Now, let's zoom in on a sector that has been just utterly transformed by e-commerce, becoming a true massive success story. Online financial services.
Oh, yeah. Fintech.
The explosion of fintech companies disrupting traditional banking and finance is nothing short of revolutionary, isn't it? How are these companies reshaping how we manage our money, get loans, invest?
Here's where it gets really interesting because the financial services sector is just a prime example of how e-commerce platforms and agile business models can totally transform a very established, often very traditional industry. It's also, as you might guess, a primary sector that extensively leverages those business intelligence capabilities we talked about earlier. The volumes of data are just immense.
Makes sense. So give us some examples of this disruption.
Okay, consider a company like Lemonade. They're an insurance company, but they operate completely differently from the old guard. They use big data and artificial intelligence to fundamentally revolutionize the insurance industry. Their entire model is built on efficiency, using AI to streamline everything from policy issuance and pricing to claims processing and incredibly precise risk assessment.
So faster, maybe cheaper insurance.
Often, yes. They offer a fundamentally different user experience, often faster, more transparent, and much more personalized compared to traditional insurers. It's a powerful testament to how AI, embedded in new business models, can completely re-engineer a long-established service like insurance.
Okay, that's insurance. What about broader financial needs? Is there like a one-stop digital shop emerging for everything?
Indeed. Take a company like SoFi, social finance. They've evolved rapidly into a true one-stop shop for a huge array of consumer financial needs. They started maybe with student loan refinancing, but now they offer everything from student loans, auto loan refinancing, mortgages, personal loans, sophisticated investing platforms, and even traditional banking services like high-yield checking and savings accounts.
Oh, they cover a lot.
They really do. And SoFi's success is particularly illustrative of agility. Even during the pandemic, when federal student loan refinancing demand dropped significantly because of the CARES Act payment pause.
Right, people didn't need to refinance then.
Exactly. But SoFi thrived. How? They smartly leveraged their newly acquired National Lake Charter, which allowed them to offer highly competitive interest rates on checking and savings accounts. This helped them foster primary banking relationships with their members, becoming their main financial hub.
Smart pivot.
Very smart. And beyond just direct consumer services, they also diversified by providing their underlying technology platforms to other fintechs through acquisitions like Galileo. This showcases an incredibly agile and responsive business model. It directly highlights those critical technical and business considerations for creating and operating an electronically based business and the profound role AI plays in enabling these new data-driven business models.
It's fascinating how investment flows follow these trends too.
Absolutely. What's truly fascinating here is how these innovations attract significant investment. You have firms like ARK Invest, for example, whose entire philosophy is explicitly structured around investing in disruptive technology. And if you look at their portfolios, they heavily feature companies leveraging fintech, artificial intelligence, blockchain, genomic.
All the cutting edge stuff.
Exactly. This clearly demonstrates how crucial these technological advancements are viewed as being to the future of financial services and the broader digital economy. It shows how they are shaping major trends in the consumption of online content and financial products.
And you mentioned BI earlier in finance.
Yes, absolutely critical. The financial services industry, with its vast, complex, and highly sensitive data sets, is a leading adopter of business intelligence, BI capabilities. BI tools are essential. They enable real-time financial monitoring, proactive risk assessment based on complex models, and efficient performance evaluation across different business lines or investment portfolios. These capabilities are absolutely critical for managing these enormous data sets effectively and, crucially, ensuring regulatory compliance in this heavily regulated, information-intensive environment. This fundamentally demonstrates the technical and business considerations for creating and operating an electronically based business in finance. You need the tech to handle the data and the rules.
Okay, finance is clearly a hotbed of e-commerce innovation. But beyond the realm of money, online travel and job recruitment have also seen just massive shifts, haven't they? Making both researching destinations and finding career opportunities much easier and more efficient than ever before.
Absolutely. These are two more excellent examples of how e-business platforms fundamentally transform information-intensive industries, changing how we access opportunities and experiences.
Let's start with travel. How has that evolved?
Okay, online travel services. Despite experiencing that sharp temporary dip during the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic, as global travel basically ground to a halt,
Yeah, nobody was going anywhere.
this sector is experiencing a very strong resurgence now. Consumers increasingly, almost instinctively now, Turn to the internet to research destinations, compare prices for flights and accommodations, read reviews, and book everything from car rentals to entire complex vacation packages.
It's the default for most people now, right?
It really is. This digital ecosystem effectively aggregates millions and millions of consumers into one focused customer pool. This allows the suppliers, the airlines, the hotel chains, the rental companies, the tour operators to efficiently reach them, manage their inventory dynamically, and fill excess capacity, often using sophisticated dynamic pricing models based on real-time demand.
Right. Prices change constantly.
Exactly. The sheer convenience, the breadth of choice, and the comprehensive information available online have made it the preferred channel for a huge majority of travelers, completely revolutionizing how we plan and book our journeys.
But with all that information, especially user-generated content like reviews, how do we navigate it? How do we separate the genuinely helpful stuff from, the noise or even fake reviews?
That raises a really important question, especially for you, the consumer of online content. While immensely convenient, the heavy reliance on user-generated reviews for hotels, restaurants, attractions introduces significant challenges. How do consumers truly distinguish trustworthy, authentic reviews from potentially phony reviews or biased accounts when making critical travel decisions that often involve substantial financial outlay and vacation time?
It's tough. Sometimes they all sound the same.
It is tough. This underscores a major trend in the consumption of online content, the increasing need for critical evaluation skills and media literacy. It's not just about finding information anymore, it's about discerning its credibility and potential biases.
Good point. Okay, let's shift gears to finding work. How has online job recruitment changed things?
Online job recruitment platforms have completely automated what used to be an incredibly information-intensive, often frustrating business process. They have drastically reduced search times and costs for both employers looking for talent and job seekers looking for opportunities.
Thinking of LinkedIn? Indeed, Glassdoor.
Exactly with those kinds of platforms. They serve as national and increasingly international marketplaces. They help establish market prices and terms for labor across industries and geographies. They promote wage rationalization, helping align salaries with market rates. They enhance labor mobility, making it easier for people to find jobs outside their immediate location. And they significantly boost recruitment efficiency for companies.
How do they compare to the old ways?
Well, they offer significant advantages over traditional, often cumbersome methods. Think about limited, expensive print advertisements in newspapers, or non-pre-screened cattle call style career expos, or relying on costly private recruitment agencies, or even the time-consuming process of traditional on-campus recruiting drives. Online platforms streamline much of this.
Yeah, much faster to apply online.
Much faster, wider reach. For you, the listener, understanding these sectors directly addresses understanding major trends in the consumption of online content, whether it's travel reviews or job postings. And it shows how e-business platforms provide a robust means to develop an effective media content strategy for everything from company branding for recruitment to promoting travel destinations.
Okay, so from booking travel to finding jobs, let's talk about getting things now. From ordering dinner to hailing a ride, on-demand services feel like a defining characteristic of the modern digital economy.
Absolutely. Instant gratification culture enabled by tech.
They leverage technology to seamlessly connect needs with providers, often in just minutes. Companies like DoorDash seem to be constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible. What's the real magic behind this on-demand model, and what are its broader implications?
On-demand service companies represent one of the most fundamentally disruptive e-commerce business models we've seen emerge in the last decade or so. At their core, they provide a sophisticated technology platform, usually a mobile app, that enables the on-demand delivery of countless services. They do this by connecting providers, often individuals leveraging spare resources they already own, like their personal cars, maybe a spare room, or simply their own available labor time, with consumers who want to utilize those resources quickly and conveniently.
Right, matching supply and demand in real time.
Exactly. Take DoorDash, for instance. They've moved far beyond just basic restaurant food delivery. They're actively experimenting with things like quick commerce or Q-commerce offerings, aiming for incredibly fast 15-minute deliveries of convenience items in really dense urban areas like New York City.
15 minutes, wow.
Yeah. And they're even expanding into handling customer retail package returns for other companies, demonstrating their constant innovation to solve broader consumer logistics problems and find new ways to monetize their extensive network of drivers.
So they're becoming logistics platforms.
In many ways, yes. These companies dramatically lower the cost of many services, like urban transportation compared to traditional taxis, or short-term lodging compared to hotels, primarily by efficiently matching existing supply with fluctuating demand. Their online platforms, which are often heavily supported by robust reputation systems, driver ratings, host ratings, customer ratings, play a crucial role in building trust between strangers and enabling access to these previously underutilized resources. This ability to instantly scale up or down and utilize this vast, dispersed pool of assets is really a marvel of software engineering and algorithmic matching.
It sounds incredibly efficient and, frankly, really beneficial for consumers looking for convenience and lower prices. But I know this model isn't without its critics, right? What are some of the controversies and challenges that come with this kind of massive disruption?
You're absolutely right to point that out because this disruption isn't without significant controversy. And it really highlights crucial legal, ethical, social, and political issues surrounding e-commerce issues that any student developing an e-business solution, particularly in the service sector, must carefully evaluate.
Okay, like what's the main friction point?
A major point of contention is that these on-demand firms often operate, or at least initially operated, with fewer regulatory burdens or different tax obligations compared to the traditional industries they compete with.
The uneven playing field argument.
Exactly. Consider the intense ongoing debates between Airbnb and traditional hotels regarding occupancy taxes, zoning laws, and safety regulations. Or think about Uber and Lyft versus conventionally licensed taxi services regarding driver background checks, commercial insurance requirements, and fare regulations. This perceived uneven playing field can lead to significant market shifts, and it has sparked intense debates globally around liability insurance, consumer protection standards, and defining what actually constitutes fair competition in the digital age.
So regulators are playing catch up.
Constantly. Furthermore, it raises really profound questions about worker classification. Are the individuals providing these services the drivers, the delivery personnel, the handymen booked through an app? Are they independent contractors, as the companies usually argue, or are they effectively employees?
That's a huge debate. Why does it matter so much?
It matters massively because that distinction has enormous implications for things like access to benefits, health insurance, retirement plans, worker protections, minimum wage laws, overtime pay, unemployment insurance, and even the fundamental right to organize into unions. This whole concept is a core part of the gig economy, where labor increasingly consists of these temporary, flexible jobs, often facilitated by apps. While it certainly offers flexibility to workers, which many value, it prompts really important social discussions about the security, stability, and long-term welfare of this rapidly growing segment of the workforce.
Right.
For you, the listener, understanding these complex layers, the economic disruption, the regulatory gaps, the worker classification debate, it's vital for evaluating the full spectrum of legal, ethical, social, and political issues related to any e-business solution you might propose or analyze. It's about seeing beyond just the cool technology. It's about understanding its real-world societal footprint.
Absolutely. Okay, shifting gears again slightly. In this incredibly data-rich world of e-business, we've mentioned how every single interaction, every click, every purchase generates raw data. But raw data by itself isn't particularly useful, is it? It's mostly just noise.
A data deluge, often.
The real power, the real value, comes when you transform that noise into actual, actionable insight. And that's where business intelligence systems, BI, step in, turning these complex data sets into clear strategic information. How do these powerful systems truly work? What are they doing behind the scenes?
It's incredible how business intelligence, or BI, has fundamentally reshaped decision-making across pretty much every industry, but especially in areas like finance, accounting, marketing, and supply chain management within e-business. BI isn't just about generating reports that tell you what happened last quarter. It's about interpreting vast, complex data sets related to budgets, sales forecasts, website traffic, customer behavior, key performance indicators, KPIs, to understand why things happen and what might happen next.
Moving from descriptive to diagnostic and predictive.
Exactly. Its core purpose is to convert that raw data, which gets pulled from incredibly diverse sources like enterprise resource planning, ERP systems, customer relationship management, CRM systems, traditional databases holding transaction records, web analytics platforms, and even external market data feeds into meaningful and critically useful insights. This directly facilitates enhanced data-driven decision-making and allows for more strategic planning, helping businesses be proactive rather than just reactive.
You mentioned international business earlier, too.
Yes, it's especially vital there. In international business, BI tools are integrated for things like real-time financial monitoring across different currencies and regulatory environments, proactive risk assessment related to global operations, and efficient performance evaluation across multinational corporations or even public financial institutions. BI platforms are essentially the sophisticated evolution of older systems, like management information systems or MIS.
How are they different from MIS?
Well, MIS typically provided more static, retrospective reports looking backwards. BI merges sophisticated data processing, powerful data warehousing techniques, and dynamic data visualization capabilities into a single, often interactive analytical environment. This provides a more holistic, frequently real-time view of financial health, operational efficiency, market trends, allowing for much more dynamic, informed decision-making.
That's a great distinction, moving from just static reporting to proactive dynamic analysis. Can you maybe walk us through how a typical BI system is architected? Like, how does that data actually flow through it to become insight? It sounds complex.
It can seem complex, but we can break it down. Think of data as raw ore, and our BI system as a sophisticated refinery transforming that ore into valuable metal.
Okay, I like that analogy.
So, step one. Data sources. It all begins with the diverse raw or various data sources. These are everywhere in an e-business. ERP systems tracking inventory and orders, CRM systems managing customer interactions and sales pipelines, traditional databases holding historical transactional records, web analytics tools capturing website clicks and user journeys, social media platforms, maybe even external sources like competitor pricing data or economic indicators.
A lot of different ores.
A lot. Step two, data integration and ETL. Next, that raw ore needs serious processing. This is where data integration and ETL, extract, transform, load processes come in. These are like the heavy machinery of our refinery. They meticulously extract the raw data from its various sources. Then they transform it, cleaning it up to remove inconsistencies, errors, or duplicates, maybe converting formats, standardizing definitions. And finally, they load this cleaned, standardized data into a central repository.
Okay, so collecting, cleaning, organizing.
Precisely. Step three. Data warehouse. This central repository is our data warehouse. Think of it as a vast, highly organized storage facility specifically designed for all this refined analytical data. Unlike operational databases optimized for fast transactions, a data warehouse is optimized for complex analytical queries. It can hold structured data, like sales figures, semi-structured data, like web blogs, and even unstructured data, like customer emails or social media comments. It aims to be the single source of truth for the entire organization's analytical needs.
Got it, the central library.
Good analogy. Step four. OLAP cubes and data marts. Now, from this massive warehouse, we often create specialized molds or maybe ready-to-use bricks for specific analytical purposes. These are things like OLAP cubes or data marts. Imagine an OLAP cube like a super-powered, multi-dimensional spreadsheet. Instead of running a complex, time-consuming query every single time you want to analyze data from different angles, OLAP cubes pre-calculate and store aggregations. This allows users to instantly slice and dice the data, maybe look at sales by region, by product category, and by time period simultaneously without any noticeable lag.
Faster analysis.
Much faster for common queries. Data marts are similar, but are usually smaller. Topic-specific data warehouses, perhaps one just for marketing campaign data, another just for HR metrics, tailored for specific departmental analytical needs. Step 5. End-user interfaces. Finally, these refined bricks or slices from the cubes feed into the end-user interfaces. These are the polished displays and tools that human users actually interact with. Reporting tools that generate standard reports, highly interactive dashboards with dynamic charts, graphs, and gauges, and sometimes sophisticated interactive analysis applications for power users. They present complex information in an easily digestible, often highly visual format, making these powerful insights accessible to decision makers across the organization, not just data scientists.
Wow, okay, that refinery analogy really helps visualize the flow from raw data to usable insight.
Exactly. And this entire system, this architecture, helps you, the student, understand major trends, not just in finance, but also in supply chain management and collaborative commerce, because it provides the powerful tools needed to analyze those complex data flows. It directly aids you in selecting appropriate hardware and software solutions for building these analytical capabilities. It's truly about bringing clarity and structure to overwhelming complexity.
That's a fantastic breakdown of the BI architecture, the data refinery. It makes the whole process much clearer. So with these robust BI systems in place, what specific tools are really leading this data-driven revolution today? Which giants stand out in creating those real-time dashboards, especially for finance and accounting, that CFOs and business leaders are relying on so heavily?
That's a critical question, especially when you're faced with the task of selecting appropriate hardware and software solutions for a business problem. Real-time financial dashboards are absolute game changers in today's fast-paced business environment. They don't just report historicals, they consolidate multiple, often disparate data sources into interactive charts, graphs, and key performance indicators, significantly enhancing decision-making across all financial tiers, from C-suite executives needing a high-level overview down to operational accountants tracking daily variances.
They're becoming standard practice, right?
Absolutely. A compelling 2023 Deloitte survey, for instance, found that over 78% of global CFOs reported using at least one BI dashboard for real-time financial oversight, and that figure continues to climb rapidly. This clearly highlights a major trend and underscores why familiarity with these tools is a critical skill for any aspiring e-business or finance professional.
Okay, so who are the main players?
Well, one of the undisputed leaders in the space is Microsoft Power BI. Launched back in 2015, Power BI has seen just meteoric adoption, particularly within organizations already heavily invested in the Microsoft ecosystem.
Why is it so popular?
It truly excels in several areas. It has powerful data modeling capabilities. It offers significant cost efficiency, especially if you already use Microsoft 365. And as you'd expect, it provides seamless integration with other Microsoft products like Excel, Azure Cloud Services, and SQL Server databases. Its analytical backbone relies on two really powerful components: data analysis expressions, DAX, and Power Query.
DAX and Power Query, what do they do?
Think of DAX as a supercharged formula language, quite similar conceptually to advanced Excel functions, but designed to work efficiently with much larger and more complex data sets held in a data model. It allows for sophisticated calculations, complex time series analysis like year-over-year growth, and powerful data aggregations. Power Query, on the other hand, is your data wrangling wizard. It helps you connect to hundreds of different data sources, then clean, transform, merge, and reshape often messy raw data before you even start building your reports and analyses. Together, they enable the creation of really agile, scalable financial intelligence systems, effectively democratizing sophisticated financial insights beyond just specialized analysts.
Okay, so Power BI sounds like the integrated, powerful option, especially if you're already living in the Microsoft world. What's the other big player often mentioned alongside it?
The other giant in this space is Tableau, which is now a part of Salesforce. Tableau has long been renowned for its incredibly robust and arguably highly intuitive data visualization capabilities. It's often praised for its sheer power in transforming complex, structured, and unstructured data into compelling, beautiful, and highly interactive visual stories. This is particularly powerful for executive-level presentations and for exploratory data analysis where you're trying to uncover patterns visually.
So, strong on the visualization front.
Very strong. It also boasts exceptional ease of integration with a vast array of diverse data sources, from cloud databases like Snowflake or Redshift, to simple spreadsheets, to big data platforms like Hadoop. In finance and accounting, Tableau has become an indispensable tool for enhancing financial reporting through clear visuals, enabling strategic planning by allowing users to visually model different scenarios, and streamlining compliance monitoring through clear, easily auditable dashboards.
So, Power BI and Tableau are the leaders. What core capabilities make them so valuable?
Both Power BI and Tableau offer crucial capabilities that directly address that skill outcome of selecting appropriate hardware and software solutions for data analysis. They both enable sophisticated multidimensional analysis, allowing you to easily slice and dice financial data from various perspectives simultaneously by time, by region, by product, by customer segment, etc. They both facilitate real-time or near real-time scenario planning, helping finance professionals model the potential impact of different decisions or market changes. changes. And critically, both platforms support robust centralized data governance features, helping ensure data consistency, security, accuracy, and reliability across all reports and analyses within the organization. These are truly the workhorses powering modern financial intelligence and data-driven decision-making in e-business.
Okay, that makes sense. But with the immense power that these BI systems wield, especially when they're dealing with incredibly sensitive financial data, customer data, employee data, I feel like it comes with an equally immense responsibility.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Responsibility and risk.
Cybersecurity and data privacy can't just be afterthoughts, right? They feel existential for any e-business relying on this data. So what are the key security issues we really need to recognize in this BI environment, and how are firms trying to address them?
This is absolutely fundamental. For you, the student, being able to assess the key security issues related to your proposed business solution is critical. And it directly addresses that knowledge outcome of recognizing key security issues related to the overall e-commerce environment. You're right, BI platforms process vast volumes of potentially highly sensitive data, detailed transactional data, payroll information, tax records, confidential customer PII, personally identifiable information. This necessitates incredibly stringent privacy safeguards and robust multi-layered access controls. Without them, the risk of devastating data breaches, internal fraud, intellectual property theft, and severe regulatory noncompliance becomes simply unmanageable.
So what are some of those key security features? How do they lock it down?
Okay, let's break down some critical security features that are essential in any modern BI deployment. Role-based access control, RBAC. This is foundational. It's not about giving everyone access to everything. RBAC limits data access based on a user-specific defined role within the organization. For example, a marketing analyst might need to see aggregated sales trends, but they absolutely should not see individual customer bank account details or employee salaries. Our BAC ensures that only authorized personnel can view sensitive financial or personal information, which is also crucial for evaluating those legal, ethical, social, and political issues raised by data use. Data encryption. This is paramount, non-negotiable. It protects data both at rest, when it's stored on servers and databases or in the data warehouse, and in transit, as it moves across networks, maybe from a cloud database to the user's dashboard in their browser. Encryption essentially scrambles the data using complex algorithms, making it completely unreadable to unauthorized individuals, even if they somehow manage to intercept it or access the storage device. Sensitivity labeling and row-level security, RLS. These provide incredibly granular control over data access, going beyond just roles. Sensitivity labeling allows data itself to be classified. For example, public, internal, confidential, highly confidential. This can then drive automated security policies. Row-level security, RLS, is even more specific. It allows administrators to define rules that restrict which rows of data-specific users or groups can see within a single table or report. For example, a regional sales manager might log into the same sales dashboard as the national manager, but RLS ensures they only see the data rows pertaining to their specific region. It offers really fine-tuned protection for highly sensitive information within a larger dataset. Audit logs. These are absolutely indispensable for transparency, accountability, and forensic analysis if something goes wrong. Audit logs provide a comprehensive, often real-time, immutable trail by tracking virtually every significant action within the BI system. Who accessed which dashboard or report, when they accessed it, what filters they applied, if any data was exported, if report definitions were changed, if dataset modifications were attempted. This detailed logging is essential for meeting compliance requirements, like HIPAA or SOX, for conducting forensic accounting investigations should a breach or fraud be suspected, and for proactively identifying any suspicious user activity patterns. These logs can often be visualized and analyzed within the BI ecosystem itself. Centralized identity management and secure API connections. These are critical for preventing unauthorized users from even getting into the system and for securing data flows between different systems. Centralized identity management, often using protocols like SAML or OAuth, integrated with corporate directories like Azure Active Directory, ensures robust user authentication and single sign-on. Secure API application programming interface connections ensure that when the BI tool queries data from other source systems or when other applications query the BI tool, these connections are properly authenticated and encrypted, preventing unauthorized data snooping or manipulation. They form a robust security perimeter around the BI environment.
Wow, that's a lot of layers. It sounds like a constant battle, though, to stay ahead of evolving threats, especially with so much data constantly flowing in real time. What are some of the specific challenges there?
The challenges are indeed amplified in dynamic, real-time BI environments. That continuous data streaming, those automatic dashboard refresh cycles, they inherently increase the potential attack surface for cyber threats. There are simply more opportunities for things to go wrong or be intercepted. This demands that BI security isn't treated as some isolated silo. It must be integrated seamlessly within the organization's broader enterprise cybersecurity frameworks, policies, and monitoring tools. And it needs oversight from comprehensive data governance councils that include representatives from IT, security, legal compliance, and the business units.
So there needs a holistic approach.
Absolutely. Without these rigorous integrated controls, financial institutions and e-businesses face heightened risks of sophisticated fraud schemes, insider threats, which are often harder to detect, and potentially severe compliance failures with hefty fines and reputational damage. Furthermore, as we touched on, BI tools are increasingly leveraged globally, not just for insights, but specifically to help ensure compliance with critical, complex regulations like Sarbanes-Oxley, SOX, in the US, the General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, in the EU, and MiFID II financial regulations in Europe. This clearly demonstrates their crucial role in navigating the complex web of legal, ethical, social, and political issues raised by e-commerce and data usage on a global scale. Security and compliance are two sides of the same coin here.
Okay, given this whole discussion about the immense power of GI, and especially the increasing role of AI within it for financial analysis and decision-making, it really raises a crucial set of questions about fairness, bias, and accountability, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. We're moving into complex territory here.
How do we ensure that the algorithms making these increasingly complex, often high-stakes decisions like loan approvals, risk scoring, even budget allocations are transparent, understandable, and unbiased?
This is truly where the technical engineering of e-business intersects profoundly with its societal impact. And it directly speaks to that critical skill of evaluating the legal, ethical, social, and political issues related to any e-business solution you might develop or implement. It's a crucial area for any future e-business professional to grapple with.
So what's the core problem?
As you said, financial BI tools are increasingly employing sophisticated AI and machine learning models for tasks like generating complex forecasts, calculating credit risk scores for loan applicants, recommending optimal investment strategies, or even making automated budget recommendations. The core challenge here often lies in what's known as the black box effect.
The black box, meaning you can't see inside.
Exactly. This occurs when complex algorithms, particularly advanced machine learning models like deep neural networks, lack easy interpretability. Their internal workings, the thousands or millions of parameters and complex interactions, become opaque and incredibly difficult for even experts to fully understand intuitively. This naturally diminishes user trust. When a machine learning model integrated into a Power BI dashboard suggests denying a loan application, flags a seemingly normal transaction as high risk, or recommends a specific, perhaps counterintuitive investment strategy, a finance professional needs to be able to understand why that recommendation was made, not just blindly accept what the recommendation is. They need explainability.
Right, you need to be able to justify the decision,
Yeah.
especially if it negatively impacts someone.
Precisely. So there's a critical and growing need for several things: algorithmic transparency and explainability, XAI. This isn't necessarily about revealing proprietary source code, but about providing tools and techniques that offer insights into how the model reached its conclusion. This might involve providing explanatory metadata, comprehensive model documentation, tools that highlight which input features were most influential in a particular decision, or even generating simplified visual breakdowns of the algorithmic logic for specific cases. Users and stakeholders need to understand the inputs, the key drivers, and the decision paths an algorithm takes. It's about trying to audit the thought process of the machine, ethical auditing and bias detection. Automated accounting or financial processes such as AI-driven journal entry suggestions, automated variance classifications, or algorithmic loan underwriting must be rigorously and regularly audited specifically for transparency and potential bias. This is crucial to ensure they don't inadvertently perpetuate or even amplify existing societal biases that might be present in the historical training data. For example, if historical lending data reflects past discriminatory practices, an AI model trained on that data might unknowingly learn and perpetuate those biases in recommending future loan approvals or denials. Regular audits, using specialized tools and human oversight, are needed to detect and mitigate such unintended and deeply unethical outcomes. Robust human oversight and intervention. Despite the incredible advancements in AI and automation, human oversight remains absolutely crucial, especially for high-stakes decisions. Humans are essential for monitoring the performance of these dashboards and automated processes, for catching edge cases or anomalies the algorithms might miss, for preventing the reinforcement of biases, for detecting unintended consequences, and for providing context and judgment, particularly in novel or ambiguous situations. There needs to be a clear process for human review and potential override of algorithmic decisions when necessary.
So it's about building systems that are not just powerful, but also understandable, fair, and accountable.
Exactly. Ultimately, integrating ethical principles, fairness, transparency, accountability, privacy directly into the design, development, deployment, and ongoing monitoring of BI and AI systems isn't just a regulatory safeguard or a compliance checkbox. It's increasingly becoming a powerful reputational imperative in our intensely data-driven financial world. Companies that can demonstrate responsible AI practices will likely build greater trust with customers, regulators, and the public. This equips you, the student, to think critically about the broader societal implications of the technologies you will inevitably build and use. It fosters ethical development practices in your e-business proposals and prepares you to assess not just the technical security issues, but also the ethical integrity related to your proposed business solution, ensuring both technical robustness and societal responsibility.
That's a really important perspective to keep in mind. Okay, we've covered a vast landscape today, from the foundational business models to the incredible power and potential perils of data analytics. But let's bring it back to the operational realities for a moment. Operating an e-business day-to-day means dealing with very real-world complexities, like those potential clashes with traditional sales channels we mentioned earlier, and the absolute necessity of having a rock-solid, resilient supply chain. How do businesses engineer their way around these very practical challenges?
That's where clever strategic thinking really has to meet flawless operational execution. If we connect this back to the bigger picture, especially for anyone thinking about building an e-business, those manufacturer direct firms, the DTC brands,
Mm.
while they absolutely benefit from those direct customer relationships and potentially higher margins,
Yeah.
they often face that tricky situation known as channel conflict when they decide to sell directly online, especially if they also rely on traditional retail partners for distribution.
How does that conflict play out?
Well, they risk directly cannibalizing sales from their own traditional retail partners, the very stores, whether they're large chains or small independent boutiques, that have historically distributed their products and helped build their brand in the physical world. This can lead to serious friction, resentment, maybe retailers dropping the brand or giving it less prominent shelf space. It can really alienate long-standing partnerships that might have been built over years, even decades of collaboration.
So how do they manage that? Can they do both?
It requires real strategic caution and very careful channel management. They need to avoid negatively impacting these existing relationships if they value them. This might involve things like offering exclusive products online, maintaining price parity, or even slightly higher prices online compared to retail, providing marketing support to their retail partners, or being extremely transparent in their communications about their DTC strategy. It requires a very delicate balance of pricing, product differentiation, and clear, open communication with all their channel partners. This directly relates back to students needing to identify major trends in supply chain management and collaborative commerce, and being able to describe these relevant channel relationship issues related to the business problems they're trying to solve.
Okay, managing channels is one thing. What about just getting the product to the customer reliably? Supply chains seem so fragile sometimes.
They can be. Beyond managing those internal channel dynamics, supply chain resilience has become absolutely paramount for successful e-commerce. This lesson was driven home incredibly forcefully by the recent global disruptions we saw during the pandemic, didn't it?
Oh yeah, empty shelves, shipping delays.
Exactly. Companies are now investing heavily, or they should be, in building more resilience. This means things like diversified sourcing strategies, deliberately avoiding putting all their manufacturing and sourcing eggs in one single country or region basket. It means investing in advanced logistics technologies for better tracking and forecasting. It means building stronger, more collaborative relationships with key suppliers.
Can you give an example of a company known for this?
A classic example often cited is Zara, the fast fashion retailer. They're renowned for having an incredibly responsive and agile supply chain, much of it kept closer to their home base in Spain and Portugal than typical for the industry. This allows them to react incredibly quickly to changing market trends, manage their inventory levels with exceptional precision, and minimize disruptions, whether those disruptions are sudden shifts in fashion tastes or unforeseen global events like port closures or geopolitical issues. For you, the listener, understanding this focus on resilience is absolutely key to successfully addressing supply chain challenges in your own potential ventures. It's also fundamental to developing an appropriate e-business marketing strategy because you need a supply chain that can actually deliver on the promises your marketing makes regarding availability and speed.
That makes total sense. You can't promise fast delivery if your supply chain is broken. Okay, another real-world complexity. The digital economy might feel borderless, like it operates in the cloud without physical constraints, but in reality, it's absolutely rife with complex, overlapping, and sometimes contradictory legal and regulatory landscapes. E-businesses need to be acutely aware of these potential pitfalls, right?
Acutely aware is an understatement. This section really underscores the critical importance for you, the student, to be able to relate to, understand, and evaluate the intricate legal, ethical, social, and political issues raised by e-commerce in a global context. Ignoring these issues isn't just risky. It can lead to severe legal challenges, devastating reputational damage, and potentially business-ending financial penalties.
So what are some of the key regulatory, legal, and tax challenges that every digital enterprise, big or small, really needs to navigate carefully?
Okay, let's break down a few major areas. First, regulatory burdens, especially the inconsistencies. As we discussed with the on-demand services, they often operate or try to operate with very different regulatory requirements and tax burdens compared to their traditional incumbent counterparts. Think again about Airbnb versus hotels regarding occupancy taxes, safety regulations, zoning laws, or Uber versus taxis on licensing, insurance, fare setting. This uneven playing field inevitably leads to intense controversy, lobbying battles, calls for new, updated regulations, and accusations of unfair competition. It demands that legal frameworks constantly try to catch up with the pace of technological innovation, which is hard. Second, privacy rights. This is a monumental global concern. The extensive data gathering, detailed tracking of individual behaviors online, and aggregation of personal information by digital firms have profound implications for individual privacy. There are growing societal concerns about the often opaque monetization of user data, often without clear consent or fair compensation back to the users whose data is generating the value. And of course, there's the ever-present, pervasive risk of massive data breaches, where highly sensitive personal information can be intentionally stolen by hackers or inadvertently exposed due to negligence or system failures. As we discussed earlier with BI, the sheer volume of data processed makes this a constant, critical operational and reputational risk. Regulations like GDPR in Europe are leading the charge globally, demanding robust data protection measures, user consent, and granting users more control over their data.
And what about something as fundamental as taxation? How does a global, often intangible digital business even handle that fairly across borders?
That's incredibly complex and a source of major international tension. Taxation is a huge challenge precisely because digital technology companies often operate without being tied to specific geographical locations in the traditional sense. Where is the value created when software developed in one country serves users in 100 others via servers in a third? This significantly complicates long-standing international tax rules, which were mostly designed for trade in physical goods. It leads to widespread concerns and accusations regarding multinational corporations using complex structures for tax evasion or aggressive tax avoidance strategies, resulting in potentially significant revenue shortfalls for national governments worldwide. Countries and international bodies like the OECD are still actively grappling with how to fairly allocate taxing rights and tax profits generated from digital services that seamlessly transcend borders. It's a work in progress, involving things like digital services taxes and global minimum tax agreements.
Wow, yeah, that sounds like a political minefield.
It really is. And finally, we must consider global market challenges, even within seemingly unified economic blocs. Take the European Digital Single Market, DSM, for example. Despite significant efforts to harmonize rules, substantial barriers often persist due to divided national regulations on certain issues, differing technical standards, and of course, the numerous languages spoken across the member states. This fragmentation can make it genuinely challenging for European digital companies to scale up quickly across the continent and compete effectively with the massive, often more unified home markets enjoyed by global giants from the US or China. In fact, the EU has been very proactive in trying to level the playing field, even finding major global digital firms billions of euros for abusing dominant market positions in areas like search or app stores, demonstrating a strong regulatory stance on digital competition and market fairness.
So the takeaway is clear.
Absolutely. For any e-business developer, meticulously evaluating these multifaceted legal, regulatory, tax, and market access issues in their proposed solutions isn't just good practice. It's absolutely essential to avoid potentially crippling legal entanglements, protect hard-won brand reputation, and ensure long-term financial stability and viability. You have to bake this awareness in from the start.
Okay. Ultimately, though, behind all the sophisticated technology, all the clever business models, and all the complex regulations, e-business thrives on one core principle, doesn't it? Understanding and winning over the consumer.
At the end of the day, yes, it always comes back to the
It's
customer.
not just about having the smartest algorithm or the lowest price. It's fundamentally about psychology, behavior, and building trust. So what are the key factors driving consumer behavior in the e-commerce space today? And how do successful e-businesses truly connect with them on that level?
You've hit on the absolute essence of it. Those early e-commerce assumptions we talked about that consumers would be purely rational, cost-driven automatons prove largely false, or at least overly simplistic. Today's online consumers are far more discerning. Yes, price matters, but they are also strongly attracted to stable, well-known, trusted brands. And they consistently prioritize factors beyond just the lowest price tag. Reliability in service, trust in the company and its security, efficiency and accuracy in order fulfillment, and as we've emphasized several times, truly excellent responsive customer service when things inevitably go wrong. This has profound implications for literally every e-business marketing strategy and for developing a compelling, resonant media content strategy.
So what are the big trends dictating how companies need to engage now?
We're seeing several powerful, interconnected trends that really dictate how companies must engage with their audience effectively. First, the mobile-first mentality. This isn't just a trend anymore, it's the default reality for a huge portion of online activity, especially shopping. Mobile commerce sales are now significantly outpacing traditional desktop sales in many categories. This emphasizes the absolute non-negotiable necessity for e-commerce experiences to be perfectly optimized for mobile devices. They must be user-friendly, incredibly fast-loading, intuitive to navigate on a small screen, and inherently secure for mobile payments. If your mobile experience is clunky, slow, confusing, or frustrating, you're not just losing a potential sale in that moment, you're likely losing that customer for good. Second, customer experience, CX, as a key differentiator. In an increasingly crowded online marketplace where products can often seem similar, simply offering a good product at a fair price often isn't enough to stand out. Companies must consistently strive to exceed customer expectations throughout the entire journey. This means things like highly personalized product recommendations, often powered by AI analyzing past behavior that truly resonate with individual preferences and needs. It demands exceptional convenience through things like fast, predictable shipping options and genuinely hassle-free, easy return processes. And it requires highly responsive, empathetic customer support, accessible through multiple channels, whether that's sophisticated chatbots for instant answers or highly trained human agents available via phone, email, or social media for more complex issues. Exceptional CX builds deep customer loyalty and turns satisfied customers into powerful brand advocates. Third, the growing demand for sustainability. A significant, vocal, and growing segment of consumers actively prioritizes purchasing from brands that demonstrate genuine commitment to eco-friendly products and sustainable business practices. Retailers that can authentically showcase ethical sourcing policies, efforts to reduce their carbon footprint throughout their supply chain, and embrace circular economy models, maybe through product take-back programs, offering refurbished options or using recycled, upcycled materials, can differentiate themselves significantly and forge a powerful values-based connection with this increasingly influential consumer segment. It's becoming a core part of brand identity for many. And fourth, underpinning all of this is the imperative for data-driven insights. Successfully executing on personalization, optimizing CX, and even implementing sustainability initiatives requires leveraging customer analytics and rigorous market research. Businesses need to deeply understand current trends, customer preferences across different segments, and specific pain points in the customer journey. This data-driven understanding is absolutely essential for informing everything from agile product development cycles and precise inventory management to refining marketing campaigns for maximum relevance and impact and continuously improving customer service processes based on actual feedback and behavior patterns. It's really about listening intently to the data to truly understand and serve your customer better.
It sounds like a much more holistic approach than just selling stuff online.
It has to be. This holistic approach helps you, the student, recall those different e-business marketing strategies we've discussed and develop a powerful integrated media content strategy that effectively supports your proposed revenue model. It ensures that your solutions resonate not just functionally, but also emotionally and ethically with real consumer needs and evolving values. It's really about engineering a sustainable, long-term relationship with your customers, not just facilitating a single anonymous transaction.
Wow, what an incredible journey that was, right into the very heart of modern e-business. We've truly taken a deep dive today, haven't we?
We really covered some ground.
We journeyed all the way from those often mistaken, overly simplistic early predictions about e-commerce, right through to the dynamic, complex, technologically charged landscape we see today. We've explored diverse business models from those pure virtual merchants fighting for survival to the intricate complexities of omnichannel retail. We uncovered the incredible power and the necessary caution surrounding business intelligence tools like Microsoft Power BI and Tableau.
Yeah, the tools are powerful, but need careful handling.
We critically examined the cybersecurity imperatives that are just non-negotiable now. We talked about the evolving ethical considerations surrounding AI and algorithms, and we navigated the intricate legal and regulatory frameworks that are absolutely essential for any digital venture hoping to succeed globally. Add to that the seismic acceleration brought on by the pandemic,
A huge catalyst.
coupled with the relentless rise of AI, IoT, AR, VR, maybe blockchain, and that undeniable imperative of sustainability. It all means the world of e-business is more complex, certainly more challenging, but frankly also more exciting and full of opportunity than ever before.
Indeed. It comes back to what you said at the start. We noted that e-commerce doesn't just happen, it's meticulously engineered.
Right.
And as we've thoroughly explored today, this engineering requires not only robust, scalable systems and sharp strategic thinking from the ground up, but also a keen, empathetic understanding of human behavior, why people buy, what they value. It demands a deep commitment to ethical responsibilities in how data is used and how people are treated. And it requires constant agility to navigate that ever-evolving legal and regulatory landscape. Every single aspect, really, from the lines of code that power a website or an app to the seamlessness and trustworthiness of the customer journey, is a deliberate, intricate construction. It's all engineered.
Beautifully put. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this incredibly detailed deep dive into the technology and strategy of e-business. Your curiosity out there truly fuels these conversations, and we sincerely hope you found as many aha moments scattered throughout as we did putting it together.
Hope it was valuable.
Before you go, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and maybe share this deep dive with a colleague, a fellow student, or anyone who you think needs these insights to thrive in today's digital world.
Yeah, spread the knowledge.
And remember, for those invaluable extra resources, links to the book, and other materials we discussed or alluded to, make sure to check out the description right below this deep dive.
Always worth a click. Every transaction, every connection, every innovation, it all starts with someone who understands the system behind the screen. Until next time, stay curious, stay strategic, and keep turning complexity into opportunity.